Yo. Okay, so with Bitcoin coming down, Bitcoin hitting 107K during the weekend, I said hold your longs for during the weekend. Wait for the TP and get out of your Ethereum and which I hope you guys did. Now we're sitting in a situation where we need to make sure that we understand the amount of time that is going to be required for us to be out of the market. At this stage, I'm investigating, looking at where I can stake my dollars so that I can earn some yield and so forth, because as you know, 7 weeks of good upside, it pays to be in the market. But when you have 7 weeks of downwards, sideways momentum, staying out of the market, you want to have that money working for you. So tomorrow we'll be diving into that. So make sure to watch tomorrow's stream. Today's stream structure is going to be a little crazy because I wanted to do a trade stream this morning and I didn't get to that as well. So I'm going to be looking at a multiple time frame analysis as well later on during the feed. But for now, I think let's quickly have a look at Bitcoin. Let's get to the important stuff and see where we're at. Okay, so this is the chart. Now, you guys know this chart by now. In short, we've been looking at the Bitcoin halving cycles, and we've been keeping tabs that when we look between halving cycles, between 4-year market cycles, you find that the market will then, top out at around 38% of the time between each one of these halvings, and it will bottom in around 61%. It kind of plays out really good. So projecting this forward, meaning that I'm expecting where the next 4-year halving will be, halving number 5, which is still, we don't know exactly in which date, but roughly 4 years from halving number 4. We're sitting in a situation that the market top could potentially be around September, November this year. And then we're going to be due for another bear market or correction, probably leading into August 2026, thereabout. Now, this will get fine-tuned as time goes on, but nearest makes no difference, to be honest with that. And the problem that I find myself, because the saying is that there might be an alt season sitting in. The problem that I find with myself is if we look at the alts, if we do this, we take this away and I bring in the alt market real quick. Let's do this. Okay. The idea was that with Bitcoin being where it's at, let's just zoom this in. Bitcoin being where it's at, I wanted to see the alts drop. I want to see that drop in the dominance, which we haven't seen just yet. And that's frustrating at the moment because we keep on saying, and I know I'm guilty of this, I keep on saying alt season next, and then no bloody alt season. So yeah, it's a real sucky scenario at the moment because you have to have skin in the game. You have to have that little belief that the market's going to come in there. But I mean, it just doesn't want to work. Look at Ethereum now. Yeah, this was the analysis prediction, if I could use that for lack of a better word. I think we're going to chop around, then there will be the breakout, and we need to understand that the action zone is where the liquidity was left behind, and when we get there, you sell. Why? Just like I explained with the Solana chart. Let's load that one real quick. Oops, okay. Because if you do break through, the market will then come and bounce at critical levels for continuation. And we're sitting in that situation now where I sold my Ethereum, looking at BTC. And the tough question is, how long do I need to wait? So let's answer that question. How long do you need to wait before you can say that market's going to move? So let's do a little bit of a backtracking and let's have a look at the last time we had a nice spike. And then we'll take it from there. Now, the first thing that we need to do to almost understand how long we need to wait is first, when do we know a trend has been broken? The simplest tool that we can use for that, let's maybe now take away all the brush strokes on the screen so that at least it's nice and simple. You can see where we bought, where we sold, where we bought, where we sold, where we looked for action and rebalance zones and that. Okay, so if we look at where the last time we had a nice trend, the best tool that you can use would be the FIB speed resistance fan. See it there? Okay. Now, I've set it up so it's basically 2 clicks and a white line. What does it mean? I want to have on price levels the 38.2 because that's the continuation. 23.6 price will wick to, and waves within waves would mean that we'll probably bounce on the 38.2 or even the 618, but the 38.2 gives the best data. So you have a scenario that if you're trying to look for a bottom or top, let's not take that line, and we wait for a trend to establish, meaning there's a high, there's a low, there's a high, there's a low, there's a high, there's a low. Once you have a scenario where a trend has been established, you can keep on moving this thing on. And as long as you're staying above the white line, the trend is still intact. And when you go below the white line, you look for hidden bullish divergence. You look for the market to kind of find itself. Let's do it like this. Let's see. Once you go below the line, you want to look for hidden bullish divergence, meaning price should not make a lower low, but the RSI should make a lower low, because then you have the end of this wave over, boom, and you can start buying and look to add more. Okay. And so if we take that information and we look at where we are right now, you can clearly see that we're at that point where it wants to bounce, because if I keep on tracking this, remember now, there's the trend, there's the high, we're still there, we're still there, we're still there, we're golden, we break out, there's the high there. So when do I want to buy and say that this trend is going to continue on? Well, first, I want to buy when we fall below that line, and then I want to have hidden bullish divergence, meaning price needs to be down here, and the RSI needs to be down there. Okay. If we don't have that, we don't have that hidden bullish divergence. This is, if you're going to buy now, you're basically rushing your entry. So you end up being the guy that maybe bought well, sold well, bought stupid, and then wrote the thing down. So don't do that. Wait for that to occur before you grab your entry. Okay. Now, over to the comments. I haven't looked at any of the comments. If you say hi, let's see where you guys are. Now, before we do this, guys, my Discord's very simple. Okay. It's broken down into two groups. Investing side, okay, portfolio planning, videos on how to do that, and all pre-recording there. You can go check it out. Okay. And then there's a trade side where we obviously, I share my trade setups. Let's close this. Share the trade setups, the charts, everything that I want to do, all the trades I take, I share with everybody, and so forth. Then there is the HODL guide that works with a HODL report. So it's a video report where I go through the coins. We look at all the coins. I give you guys an analysis of the coins I think I like, as well as a guide on how I categorize those coins so that we can get in on them quite early. Okay. So you'll find that when you follow and see what we're on about, we don't buy when it's popular. We buy when the TA tells us it's the right time to buy. And, the last charts that we were looking at, we were grabbing coins at really good prices. This was way before the pump. Doge, buy. Look at what Doge did in relation. Okay, we can move on. We can click a Bitcoin Cash. That was the buy. I actually shared the buy with you guys way earlier. Bounce and higher. Look at where Bitcoin Cash is in relation to that chart. So it becomes very simple, but the hard part is to know the timing. All this will be made available to you guys, accessible if you open a Bybit account using my partner link. It's as simple as that. Then you're going to go to the navigation section in the Discord. You're going to get the partner role. It's simple. You're going to click on get the Bybit partner role. You'll get my indicators. You'll get access to the report. You get a lot of freebies that comes with this. Limited time only, guys. 90 days to the buddy indicator and limited time only. Once you have everything that's written down there, made all the criteria, click the yes button, send your Bybit user ID, and do that. And do that now, because I'm going to tell you this deal is literally now going to go away. It's reached the end. There's going to be one more promotion that's going to be coming your way for the rest of this week. That's starting tomorrow. So if you've already got a Bybit account under the link, and keep your eyes in for tomorrow, because there's going to be more coming your way. Okay, now over to the comments. Let's quickly see where you guys are at, and then we want to do more altcoins, because I think with the Bitcoin, there's so many. Maybe I'm jumping around. I do apologize, guys. There's nothing about being live. There's at this stage too many variables at the moment for me to say exactly we're going to go there or we're going to go there and. So for today, I'm just going to leave Bitcoin at this, saying we've hit 107K, which was the initial idea. And the latter point for us, where I believe the reversal will occur. Let's just click the button 17 times. Hopefully then it selects it. Where the reversal will occur, strong divergence prediction, is still for 112 and 134. So that's still the scenario. Okay. All right, that's it. Now let's go to the comments. I'm doing my rain dance and alt dance every day. Well, Ido, I think you need to stop because you're chasing it away. Because I've stopped dancing myself. It doesn't work anymore. Okay. Hello, Jenny. Nice to have you on the call. Lumpy, let's see what. Hi, Rudo. Thanks for another stream. Mate, appreciate the info as always. Buddy, I like sharing content, help sharing ideas. In the end of the day, the golden rule with any of these feeds is I don't try and be right. We just want to make money, guys. That's all we want to try and do. We want to just weigh the odds, see what will be the most plausible thing for us to making some money. That's all I'm trying to do here. For my own goal, that's simple. No financial advice. Alt season July, August, maybe alt season July, August. I'm going to show you something now. Nice little nifty trick that might line up. Let's see, Vito. Let's see what we have to say. Nice to see you here, Kevin. And then Renee and LTech codes as always. Let's see. More comments coming in. Appreciate that. Thanks, guys. What's going on with this kangaroo market? Yes, it's bouncing all over the show, man. Go on. We need something more than that. Okay, so let's talk about this real quick. This is your time measure now for the alts. I did a time analysis now for bull market end, and I've given you a predicted area where the top is going to be. So it makes it simple. That's what you're waiting for Bitcoin. So there's not a lot more gains to be had. So you need to understand that the dominance needs to start dropping in order for there to be, for life to remain positive, for us to still lead up. This is still 6 months, still a long time from now. Okay. So you have that target. Now, how would you categorize or get in on a move like that? Well, then the argument would be, from an Elliott wave point of view, it's the easiest way to kind of explain this to be, is that we're now doing an A, B, C. And what's going to happen here is you're going to have a 1, 2, 3, A, B, C, with the C being a 5 wave, okay? And then you're going to have an A, B, C, like that. And it's going to take more time. Remember now, 5 wave, A, B, C, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Bear market. That's the vision. That's the kind of thing where I'm at. Now, how will that impact the alt? Well, let's just forget about that prediction too far, so far. And let's think of it like this. 50% of the move will be retraced. Let's do that. So we've got a target, 89. That looks horrible. Don't want to go that low, but okay. 50% of the move will be retraced at least time zone, 50% of the time. Take it from the top to the bottom. So I'm looking for 1.5. Which means if we want to try and time our entry, try and time the dip. Let's do it like this. Okay. If we want to try and time the dip, we've got our time-based FIB that says, well, if that is the amount of time it took to make the move, we're going to take half the time for the retrace, which means we're looking at June 2025 for the low, where we want to be buying our next spot alts. And the price target where Bitcoin should be around that time would be around 88. Now, if we go and have a look at the last time Bitcoin was at 88, let's say that was in April 2025, 21st of April, and we go to the alts. Let's start with Ethereum. Let's see, where were we at the April that time? Let's see, there. So you're sitting in a situation where Bitcoin will go back and retrace slightly, and your ETH will have to make what? Hidden bullish divergence on that pivot. So it needs to be above that range. And that means that for Ethereum holders, I'm out. I'm waiting for at least a 20-25% discount from where it's at now. I mean, I sold the Friday when we were here. 2.6. There. So where we're at now, it's down 10%. So I've got 10% more. If I buy now, I'll have 10% more ETH. And by the time we hit there, I'll probably have 23% more ETH. Now, remember, guys, I fucked up. Okay. I was planning for the breakout there. So I sold in the rebalance zone at a loss. Loss of 17%. So I've got two things to do. I'm in dollar, waiting for that. So I'll have same amount of money I would have had if I did nothing, but now it's offset by the fact that I have more ETH. Okay? So that's how you get yourself out of a bad position. You don't trade your HODL coins. Never trade your HODL coins. Okay? Remember that. Never trade your HODL coins. Okay, so let's have a look at it in ETH. So that's the idea for ETH. So if I use that same analysis and I say, okay, let's look for confluence, take the time base, put it in there. ETH is probably going to wait until May, 50%. So you're looking at around 2K ETH at end of May. That would probably be a reasonable time for this move. Then you've got a 1, 2, 3, 4, and then a 5, a fifth wave. Then still no alt season. So if you want to have alt season, what needs to happen is Bitcoin needs to push a little bit higher, and ETH not going to drop. That's why it's so wild at the moment. I don't have a clean answer for you. So all I can do is I give you guys targets. Okay. Let's quickly see what else we have. So Solana is not the one looking good at the moment, to be honest with you. This is a support area, 150. I said this would be your buy when we looked at it. I expected 180 to be resistance, 150 to be the buy. Hidden bullish divergence is there. Okay, so it's there. It's in. It wants to go for the buy. So let's delete that. Let's delete that. Clean that up. Okay. And now we need dominance to drop because you need to almost get this. You need to have this blow-off scenario. You want that now. So we can get out of that. And that will only really occur once Solana breaks into this range here. Because it's not going to spend a lot of time. You can almost bring it down slightly, take it right. You're not going to spend a lot of time there. And then if I do the same for Ethereum, it's very simple. If I get the buy, great. And if I don't and it goes higher, I will buy back. Ethereum's time for that is still so far away before it's going to go parabolic, just create this. That's only going to happen there from a price action point of view. Because you've got all the work done. So it's not going to hang around there anymore. Here it was trending. So it will be trending. There it will jump. Don't believe me? That's what Bitcoin did. Okay? It spent all the time chopping around there. So when it got back there, what did it want to do? It didn't want to stay there. There was no more reason for it to be here. So it jumped it. So, yeah. Okay, so there you have it. Now, let's have a look at your coins. Let's quickly see. Now, here's a few comments from. Do you think top only 130K? Yes, 120 is actually the area that I thought is going to be the best scenario for Bitcoin top, to be honest with you. What we can do, though, is we can kind of try and work out where a buy would be to try and, get to that area. And the best chart for that, I would say, is your point and figure chart to kind of figure out whether that's going to happen. And what you'll find is you can see to the right-hand side, the more candles I bring in, the more the volume profile is going to tell me where the most amount of buying occurred. Okay, so you can see where all the buying occurred. And what you're looking for is the fact that there's a gap there. And that's why I have that sickening feeling that we're going to see 100K pretty soon with BTC. And then there's another gap sitting right there as well. And statistically, the 50% of the move sits at 89. And now you've got all this volume that needs to be defended. So either these guys needs to take profit. So I'm looking at the on-chain data at the moment to try and figure out head over tail. And I don't have an answer for you now. I'm sorry. To try and see if I can, whether this liquidity is being spent or whether it's waiting for more. But all I do know is there's an inefficiency there in price. And as we know that this is, point the figure chart, is your swing buy zone. So the market's going to bounce at 100. I made a tweet earlier today. Go long at 100, and then if there's hidden bearish divergence, you short. Okay. And this brings me to the trading side of what I've been sharing with you guys. So I'm just going to bring up the trading charts real quick. And that's the setup that I shared. I mean, I gave you guys this long, I gave you the continuation long, and I gave you guys the short. And it's as simple as that. So this is the track record of all the setups shared since I started doing simplified things for you guys. Okay. So now we want to try and get to this area here at around 97. I don't want to see this, to be honest with you guys. I want to see us stay higher because it keeps the hope for alt season there. But, you know, we'll take it as it goes. No buy zone just yet, guys. You can scalp long, but there's no hodl, no investment zone just yet. Why do I say can you scalp long? You'll see the RSI will probably go, if we push down a little bit lower still, say go to 100, that RSI will be made lower low. Let me just take my face away. RSI would have made a lower low. We'll go, Peter, you want that one? Then I'll do this. Now you put my face back. Me and Peter, we need to get synced in there. Okay. I'm too complicated a person to work with. I think the problem lies with me. It's not Peter's fault. Poor Peter, you know, the guy sitting there. Oh, what the hell must I do? So, but in any case, so we're sitting in a situation where wait for that RSI to go below. That should be around 100. Then you scalp long because you'll find that the market will continue on. And that's it. So the short, where it's at now, it's 1-to-1 risk to reward ratio. So anybody that did take this, your stop now should be at break even. Okay, stop to break even. I'll make a tweet on this pretty soon, but there you have it. So there's your trading stuff for the day. Okay, and bringing us back to, so that's why I want to go long there, and that's why I'm waiting for the market to, you know, I'm done now. I'm pulling my spot liquidity out because this is not doing any, my spot bags not doing any good because any highs is not locked in highs anymore and any lows is not really, you trade this. This is a good buy to wait. But as soon as it's doing this kangaroo market, there's no point staying there, especially if the right divergence isn't there. You know, when we were here, there was a lot of liquidity and we had hidden bullish divergence. So we had a scenario to expect that the market's going to break up. Hence the fact that I wanted to go along with you guys. But now I don't have that anymore. Okay. So yeah, that's that part. So back to your altcoins then. Let's bring this over like that. Back to your altcoins. Maybe before I do it, let's talk to Pete. Bitcoin's approaching the golden cross. Always a pump when it happens. To 200 over the 50 EMA and. Look, buddy. I don't prescribe to any of those crosses. It's not a real support. It's not a real level. It's just showing you momentum. If you go and you need to go and look at, I'm not prepared on any of those things, but if you go and have a look at golden crosses and so forth, the ones that do work need momentum. We had a death cross at the low of Bitcoin. This was the death cross. There we had a death cross for BTC. So by all that standards, I should have told you guys, no, it's over. There we had a death cross. We went long. So just be mindful of that, okay? Just be mindful of those things, okay? Now let's go through charts. I want to get through some altcoins. 52 people joining in live. It's lazy Monday. Nobody wants to be staring at a screen, especially if it's dumping on your ass. But it's necessary that we need to go through these things. So I'm going to do a few coins from each category, and then we'll take it from there. So if there's any requests, we can have a look at that. Okay. So we're starting off with Link. Okay. And the idea for Link was if the momentum was going to hold, we could see a 22. But where it's at now, Link's going to go lower still. You need this thing to go lower. It will probably go back down to 15 in order for there to be any hope for another wave. And then that wave would be there. So that parabolic move at this stage, given where we are right now, doesn't seem plausible. Okay, it can change. It can change with Bitcoin where it's at now, but for now, I think you're going to see downside first. Okay. Litecoin. Let's have a look at Litecoin. Okay, same thing now. A nice little push to the upside. We need hidden bullish divergence. You can see it's coming. We need more downside before we can be bullish. So it's a little soon. So Litecoin potentially $80 to say $85 would be the right area for the next continuation buy. Okay. Surprisingly, the acceleration that Litecoin had, it went close to 160. But this is now something just to point out. It's going to pull an XRP on your asses pretty soon. So from where I'm at now, I would suggest having some Litecoin. Say $1,000 worth of Litecoin, nothing more. If you've got like a $15,000 or $20,000 account. Why? All of this sideways eventually will give you an insane amount of gain. All of the sideways will eventually give you an insane amount of gain. Let's just take that away. It's simple. It's effort versus the laws of Wyckoff. Okay. You just don't know which one is going to be, so you need to have skin in the game. So that's why and the guys in my Discord can attest, I hated Litecoin. Yeah, don't buy Litecoin. I gave this Bison, but I'm not buying it because it's dead. It's not doing anything. And now I'm changing my mind. I have a right. I don't want to be right. I want to make money. The way it's looking now, I'm thinking completely different. That's going to make a lot of money for somebody that has it now. Okay. Now, there's interesting coins as well. I see people talking about Tau, Tai, Dot, AVAX, and try and see if I can work through as many of these coins real quick. Interesting ones that I think I want to share with you guys. Tai, Celestia. Okay. At this stage, well, I was hopeful. Probably going to dump lower. OP, dead. Same thing. It's going to dump lower. Okay. No more zones in here. It's going to dump lower. Action zone, I'm getting out, and. So there's basic attention token. Same story, same scenario. You need to start getting out of these, in my opinion. Okay. Sui had an insane nice run. Wanted to see that buy. What do you have? Strong bullish, bearish divergence. Okay. Price testing the pivot. If Sui starts falling below this, it's going to look like Ethereum pretty soon, and it's going to come back down. HBAR. Okay. HBAR looks more like where I'm thinking Link is going to go to in the sense. Okay. So there's this 29 minimum expectancy. HBAR needs to come back down probably to around 17 before the RSI would even look at, making sense for a buy the dip scenario. And that's it. And this is now where I'm troubled. That's why I'm saying I can't give you clean answers, because if you look at this, you're breaking trend, you need hidden bullish divergence. Price can't go below the 17 cents, and the RSI has to before we can even consider the buy. But you're buying something that broke trend. Okay, so your next high is going to have to be something spectacular in order to encapsulate that. Otherwise, it's just going to move to resistance, 20, and sell off. Let's see. Let's see what we have in the comments as well. Let's see what else. I've been holding Dot. Let's have a look at Dot. Dot's up here. Dot is probably the worst underperformer of them all. If you think about it, the launch price was $3. It's $4. I think if you invested in Dot, you're pretty much kicking yourself because it did nothing. It's a lot of those, and it's a problem that we have. We with no alt season, no nothing. These coins are basically just going nowhere, and I'm hopeful. I don't want to sound somber, but you don't have to almost consider all of this as a lateral range. And we're at the bottom of the range. So Dot isn't a bad big picture buy and outlook. But where we're at now, that's still 20-30%, that little piece of movement that's in there. We'll zoom into that now. And then there's still room for $5. And do I think that DOT's going to get there now? Maybe not. It's like 6 months, a lot can happen. Bull markets needs to, they move quick. But does this have the hype and the fundamentals that it had then? No. Not going to do that. Simple. Okay. So realize some gains. Make ready to farm a little bit on these lows, and that's it. So DOT, how much further can this thing go realistically? It's another 12% before we even get to a point where we consider buying it. Okay. That's it. Litecoin might pump like Coin did. Comp did. Yeah, that's the hope. That's what Tony has to say. I was used to watching you a long time ago from the bouncing days. Yes. You know what? Where I stayed, it was warm. Okay, so the bowl was nice and cold, that big air bowl of mine. Where we're living now, it's cooler. Okay, and it's too cold. My ass is freezing the whole day. So I'm back on the chair just purely for comfort's sake. So no more bouncing. It was fun. You're busy the whole day bouncing. But okay, let's see what else. DEAI. I've got a rule. I never really chart something that I haven't seen beforehand. I'm going to break the rule. Okay. Let's see where is this thing. We'll probably have... I don't want to look at the perpetual. I want to look at spot. Let's see. Let's see Mexi. Gate.io should be quick with this. Okay. So it's a banana coin. Thanks, Miss Sabra. And a banana coin isn't a bad coin to be in. We looked at a couple of those from last week. Banana coins means that you can expect price to at least go to 51 cents. But you need the market to be bullish, so it's not going to do it just yet. And you're going to have that same scenario where you need this thing to almost break trend, so that it doesn't look bullish. I mean, it's a crazy place we're at now. So where it's at now is a nice momentum play. Let's put it like this: momentum play. Tomorrow things might look different. Momentum play for higher. I would rather say, if I want to get in on this, consider getting in on the other side of that line. Not that the line has real true significance, but it just shows you that at that stage momentum will be back. There's three things that we need to always consider when we want to look at getting something. What's the trend direction? What's the momentum like? And what's the localization? Okay, or the structure. And this means if is the trend up, is the momentum strong? Are we in a buy zone? That kind of thing. And this one has got none of those really good ones. So if we're there, is the trend up? Yes. Is the momentum there, or the RSI rate? Yes. We'll have that. Are we in the buy zone? Yes, we'll be in the buy zone. That little gap there. Then we grab it. Okay. So that would be the idea there. Let's see what else. Near. So Near had a lot of marketing last week. With a lot of people were punting Near. So let's have a look at Near real quick. I want to look for Near on a spot. Okay. Weekly time frame. Let's just quickly get a big sense of things. So the hope was that we were going to be really bullish soon, guys, and there's still that potential. Remember, the continuation of this means that even if we're bearish, price should visit that at least and go down. That kind of structure that we have in there. Because Near is trending down. It's a bearish coin. It's not a bullish coin. It's by far actually not bullish at all. So the hype around it is not being supported by the coin itself. So it makes for a very depressing YouTube stream. I apologize. Sorry, guys. I wanted to be. The hope was to be there, but I mean, we sold now. Hope you sold. Let me know. Did you sell something? Let's rather put it like that. Did you sell something? and realize some potential. Okay. Let's see. Right. Okay. So that's it. Nearest trending down. It's bearish. There's nothing there at the moment. Lower low, lower low. It's all over. It's not even creating any bullish news there on that pivot there on the weekly. Daily. Let's look at the daily. There was a little bit of a. Ooh. I didn't sleep last night, guys. I do apologize. Let's see. There's a little bit of a sign of hope there, but it still needs to go back down to 230, thereabout, before you can even think about this. 230, and then you can probably take it to 4. Then it's probably a 60%. Okay. Let's have a look at Ondo. Action zone, get your ass out. Same thing. I think it's going to go back and test 77. We're in that scenario where the range is there. By all means, the argument is that we need to go to 84. Okay. For the bounce. But because we got all this sitting down here, I would almost say, okay, it will bounce. Let's see if it does. But between 84 and 77 is an area where I think you need to grab this. Okay, only then. Okay, hope that sorts you out. And then Bonke, Bonke. Let's see. Some memes. Okay. Banana coin needs more downside. You need to at least go to around 12 cents. When you're at 12 cents, maybe. Okay. 12 cents, maybe then. It's too soon to tell. Like I said, we've had price literally wick into. This is what we're dealing with at the moment. We had price wick into a 4-hour sell zone and come back down. The whole idea is that there's still a lot of time for whichever scenario it wants to create. How crazy I can draw this. And the hope is that a good buy will come with price navigating a little bit lower. Why did this do now? With price migrating a little bit lower down, consolidating, and then have another breakout attempt. Okay, A, B, C, correcting to the upside, because this was the top. This is the divergence on the top. Okay, bear market. Okay, remember, this is going to be your bear market. Okay, that's the prognosis. Okay. I'm going to call it a day. Ergo SPX 690. There's a lot of other requests, guys. 38 minutes, and I want to keep the video short. It's already too long, too boring, and I'm definitely not the most energetic host here today. So let's call it where it's at. You're in the money with the short. Amazing. You're in the money with getting out of some of these coins. I'm happy. The analysis played out. Trading wise, I'm looking for a long. So I think the beginning of the week, there should be a little bit more upside, maybe back to 105. You know the drill by now. If it's fast, it won't last. Okay. So that is nothing different than this kind of move. Fast, it won't last. And then we'll see. So tomorrow, I think, will be a better time to make our decisions. Price is definitely migrating down to that 100K level. So traders, be aware. 100K, I'm going to go long. I'm going to be in the Discord. And for those that took the time, spending the 40 minutes live with me, I really do appreciate you guys. Thanks so much for doing that. It's fun doing this together with you guys. Drop me a comment. Let me know where you're at. There's so much. It's a tricky thing. There's so much spam comment on the videos these days that it makes it really hard. So if I skip your comment for some reason, I don't answer it, I do apologize. It's not by any reason. That's why the Discord is there, guys. Get your Bybit your Bybit roll. It unlocks your access within the Discord, your chat capabilities, everything. You can just chat with me there. We can chill in the trade rooms together and wait for our setups. I share my screen pretty much the whole day long. So you always, I'm always there, basically, if you're ready for a trade. It's as simple as that, okay, guys? And the Bybit promo is ending today, so you need to do it, because tomorrow all of this is going to be written differently, and that's it. Okay, so there you have it. Thanks so much. You have a lovely day. Cheers, guys.